Well, hello there, everybody. This is your Albright, Written Writ Ralph, talking to you straight from our show here, The Written Writ. And we are straight from Anime NYC this weekend, where we had a blast, had so much fun, and did so much crazy things. Right, Mr. Nat?
Yes, it was.
And today we will be talking with Christopher and Ray, because this weekend we're going to be playing with Michael Tauzin, a nice little D&D campaign. And Ray, why don't you tell the people how this whole thing started? Because, I love the whole little story with the whole tier you had.
Okay, so how about credit given where it's due? This time it's Chad's baby. I'm happy to talk about how I've had influence leading up to
it. No. I was hoping you were going to go do all that because, that's all part of the story. Go ahead.
Right on. I just want to make sure, hey, shout out to Chad Perkins. I'm really happy I get to do this again. And I was really happy I was able to inspire this to happen a second time. So the first time when I did it, I just made a backer tier for my upcoming comic based off of the first homebrew campaign I ever ran. And I invited comic creators to buy in so I could pay for Michael Tauzin's services as a professional dungeon master, and they could convert their own character into a player in the game. And we played one shot. It was a lot of fun. Chad enjoyed it so much he wanted to do it too. So this Saturday, after he successfully funded Set the Hook issue number 1, we're going to do it again, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun the last time. Michael Tauzin is very organized as a dungeon master. Sometimes it's Russian roulette, metaphorically speaking, of course, when you're dealing with dungeon masters. In a lot of cases, people are just happy to have one. They'll overlook, well, you know what, this took a little bit more time or that. Michael, he's got aces above the board, so I'm happy to play alongside him for a third time.
I'm happy to do this all over again, too. And I got to say, Chad was a blast. When
yes.
You played in your game. So when he was like, Rob, I want to do it again, I'm like, yeah, let's do it again.
Yes.
So, Christopher, how did you end up in this whole little crazy mess?
It was simple. Chad made a post, and I said, yo, hook me up. Like, yeah, this sounds great. And next thing I know, I'm just thrown into a group chat with you guys. I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm excited. Let's do it now.
So, Christopher, are you playing one of your characters, or did you decide just to play a regular D&D character?
I'm going to end up playing one of my characters.
Cool.
I'm going to be the most hated person there. That's my goal. So.
Good. I'll get my hood on. Good.
Release that anger. and Ray, you're playing one of your guys too, right?
I am. I'm just looking up some cover art of him. Converted to D&D, he would be the equivalent of a halfling artificer. So his name is Dunan Eni. He is in the comic, he's a half gnome, half dwarf. In D&D, I just made it easier by making him halfling, but he's able to influence metals, alloys, and crystalline structures. One of the coolest things he has in his arsenal is a telescope, which he's jury-rigged into being able to blast raw arcana out of it. So transferring that to D&D, he's pretty much an artificer, and so he will be the equivalent to that is like an eldritch cannon. So he will actually have that telescope in the game. I think another really cool dynamic with it in the game is you can use that cannon as a bonus action. So he's kind of like a not sword and board, like a smithing hammer and a shield. I guess, kind of hammer and board, I guess. But I can swing away if I want, but I also get to blast with this telescope hanging over my shoulder.
I think I like artificers. I can't talk today. I like them because of the whole idea, but I know some people get upset because they're like, "Oh, this is not D&D. You don't have guns in D&D."
I saw a meme not too long ago that consisted of somebody saying, you know what, I want to be an artificer, but I don't want to use guns. And then it shows like Morpheus saying he is the one, we found him. I think here we are. Present, share screen, window right there. There you go. That's him there. You can see his smoking telescope hanging over his shoulder, and you can see the tree stump in the foreground of what he blasted.
Love it. Again, the Madcaps comic is a blast. It's
no pun intended.
Exactly. It feels straight from a campaign to the book, the comic.
I
want, right?
Go ahead. What was that?
I said, which is what you want, right?
Yes. What I wanted to do is I wanted to express. I in my early 20s, I moved to a different area of the country, quite far away, about 27 hours drive. I left all of my friends, so eventually we started playing D&D in our late 20s just to like catch up, have excuses to hang out, even though we didn't live in the same area. And then fast forward the clock another decade or so, all of this lore I created for my friends, I took all of the players out and replaced them with characters I made up based off of the players, which is kind of funny.
I love it. I did the same thing when I started working on my most recent campaign. I was sitting there going, you know what? I want some legendary heroes. I'm going to make the legendary heroes the guys I played with.
Right on. This is Gage the Wolf.
Gage!
Nice to see you face to face.
Nice to meet you guys too.
Right on. I was
just saying the whole thing.
It's good, man.
We were just saying the whole thing that we all know each other from the chat, but that's it.
Yeah. Oh, hey, he's got a whiteboard too.
It's the whiteboard club.
There's at least 3 of you. I do have a whiteboard in a different room, but not in this one.
Well,
mine blocks out the window.
So, Gage, are you going to be playing one of your characters for this campaign?
I already built my guy. I'm playing the healing slime and having the dead body.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. That's
yeah.
I love that story. Yeah.
That's actually I've been working on the beginning of my novel, and that's kind of my premise. Is I've got this slime who starts off as this little tiny guy, and he realizes that he can inhabit like the body of this dead boar, and he lives among the boars for a little while until, like, being well fed and taken care of, he starts to outgrow the boar's body. And so he winds up having to ditch that. And eventually there's this adventurers party, and the warrior dies and fighting a chimera in the woods, and the healer throws a heal on him, but doesn't really have time to pay attention to him because the rest of his party's fighting this chimera. And so the slime's like, sure, I'll try being human for a little while. And that's where my antics ensue.
I have a question. Is he able to assimilate, or I shouldn't say assimilate, adopt demeanor properly, or is it kind of, does he move kind of odd when he's possessed in the body? Like right away I'm thinking of like the main bad guy in Men in Black where he stretches his face like that.
Right. And so he starts out that way, but yeah, he's kind of a little amateur anthropologist, He kind of, from traveling with the boars, he kind of learns the sounds they make and learns like their tricks for finding shelter and how they communicate with body language and sound and that kind of stuff. And then he has to start all over when he takes the human body. Like even just trying to get up on 2 legs. Like I have this moment when he's like trying to sit up and get up, and instead he like face plants. Like he starts to fall backwards and overcorrects and face plants, and everyone's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm fine," and trying to figure out how to do his thing,
How hard did you get hit? I can see it. How hard did you get hit?
Right.
That sounds like it's gonna be fun for this campaign as well. So
I hope so. It'll be fun to try out. So I've never played in a one-shot either, so this is a whole new experience for me. Every game I've ever played has been long-term, So I was a little nervous about how much story I'm like, how much story should I even put into this? Should I just build like a really easy fighter or something? I don't know.
It's funny because you still need all the story you should put into it, because you're going to be playing it. So you need all the information you need in order to play the character.
One of my favorite things I've seen in a meme with D&D, it's like the first character ever created, and it shows some like very in-depth painting in it, and it's in fine print, all the backstory.
Yeah.
And then it says the current character I've made, which is like the 571st character ever made, and it's for a one-shot. It's like, I'm actually a slice of bread. I'm a mage, and I use mage hands to carry myself around.
Oh, okay, so that's actually interesting, though. Later on in the story, it turns out it's actually the mold growing on the bread. Fooled them all along.
Oh, we lost Christopher for a minute. He'll be back. Oh, there he is. I was just saying, we lost Christopher for a minute.
My bad. I was too excited about the mage hand and the bread.
But I gotta say, that's what happens though. After a while, you've been playing characters for so long, you try to go, what can I do that I haven't done? I haven't done this. Let's try it.
Yeah.
So, Christopher, why is it that you're going to be so hated?
Oh, it's just in the story that I have, the main guy he's just bravado and just all audacity, and I'm just like, yeah, I just want to come out and be hated. I'm trying to be killed first because I want the slime to inhabit my body, and then we just have to play together from that point.
Remember, guys, if that happens, you have to speak in unison.
We are Venom.
We are Venom.
We are Venom. We are Venom.
It's so funny, Chris, because that's what Chad was trying to do in the last game.
Oh, perfect.
He was trying to get himself killed, and he ended up being the bigger hero.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, no.
You remember, right? Chad was doing all this stuff, and he ended up taking control and being in charge, and he ended up doing all this good stuff.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
None of it got him killed.
Yeah, somehow he didn't die. At one point, we get into like this area. It's got a fireplace, and there's this like ghostly chill coming from the fireplace. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna climb the chimney. So he climbs up inside.
Yep. He goes right into
He goes to the top, and there's a ghost girl in the bedroom crying, and he like consoles her and convinces her to give some information.
Yep.
She's like, my father was mean to me, and he's like this alcoholic character. He's like, oh, all fathers are terrible. I get you.
So did she die because the chimney let out in her bedroom?
No, there's this big
smoke inhalation. Yeah.
The big reveal, because it's an older house. So as he's climbing the chimney rather, there was some broken bricks, so he's able to get through into the room. But man, when he eventually there's this big reveal that there's like some dragon underneath the basement.
Yep.
And it turned out the dragon was already dead. There's a spear in its body. We're like, what the heck's going on? And then these two like fairly young dragons come out of the water, and we end up scrapping with this. And it was like a really nice curveball. Curveball rather. It was a lot of fun.
It was mystery. It was epic. It's so far for a one shot. There was a lot of information that we got.
Yes.
Right on.
And Michael makes sure of that stuff. I think I got some stuff to show off on him on Instagram. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Michael Tauzin. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, he's got some good stuff.
Oh, definitely. Let's see.
Oh, there we go.
Gage shedding some light on the issue.
All right, so Michael has a bunch of videos here. Let's show one of his videos off.
See those same cloaked individuals with small, beady yellow eyes that you saw in the Double Serpent's Den. The Darkling.
Are these cannibals?
We never dealt with those cannibals. This one moves over to the edge here and he says, "Ah, you are them. You have arrived. You're so lucky that we left Quotha alive." He looks at you and says, "You have. I am Quotha." We're all like, "Oh man!" All on top here, you see
this is
those
great,
same
man.
cloaked
Like
individuals with
he's
small.
pretty good. Oh my god,
Oh man.
Michael does a great job at DMing.
I'm so excited about this. I
It's
hadn't
gonna be
seen-
weird being on this side.
You were saying, Christopher?
Well, I hadn't seen any of the DM stuff that he had done. I just thought we were just random people showing up to do like the worst campaign ever and just call it a night. You know?
Well, the fees to buy in was just to pay for this dungeon master's services, and I mean, from my own experience, you're going to be getting what you paid for. That's for
Oh yeah,
sure.
definitely.
That's insane.
Yeah, and I'm gonna share with everybody his Instagram because he has a ton of videos there on and they're great to watch. He's really entertaining, and he's a great DM. You know, you guys should hire him. I know you guys out there are always looking for some DM to play because people always asking me, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. Because you know how it is, Ray. Once you're a DM, that's it.
Well, it's like that phrase: always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Always a DM, never a player.
This guy right here. This guy.
That's
30
what James is
years
all
of this. 30 years of game mastering.
Dude, you're going to have so much fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be so weird being on the other side.
You know, I can count on one hand how many times I've been a player. The first couple of times I ever was a player, I actually had a hard time. Not like naturally, I just want to facilitate, but that's not my job. I'd be overstepping. So in a lot of cases, I don't do it anymore. But I'll be like 5, 6, 7 sentences in, and after a while, I'm just like, I should shut up right now and let people talk.
That's so funny, Ray, that you say that because I go to the opposite way. My playing style starts to get really minimal because because it's the same thing because your brain is going, oh wait, we should do this, we should do that. And you're like, no, we can't do any of that. So I started to play like this minimal type of character, and then as the game progresses, then he starts to build and become his own thing. But
Yeah.
the whole concept of what can I do, what can't I do, what can't. And that's what happened in the one shot. I was like, I'm gonna lay back here. I'm gonna figure it out. And the good thing about the characters that I play is that it allows me to do that stuff because most of them are tricksters, or all of them are tricksters.
You're all about messing with people.
Yeah. And I'm playing one of my new characters because it's actually based on my last cat that I had, Whiskey, who I called Whiskor, Tank of Doom. And I set him up to be a character in one of the books that I'm writing, and I was like, okay, let's see if I could play him. Because one of the things that I loved about the last time we did it is it actually let me understand the character that I played a little more. Playing the game actually helped me flesh out the character more than I had.
Yeah. I can relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
When I first was making an official script for my all 3 issues of the Madcaps, I actually went on Roll20 and I made a board, the characters, and actually plotted out how they would interact with the world.
Nice.
And that was how I formulated a rough script and then fleshed it out from there. I found that very helpful.
And it's funny because I've been talking on the show, the Written Writ started off as a writing show, and when I first was talking as the writing show, I started to explain writing through D&D because it facilitates itself for that.
Yes.
At first, you start off as this guy who's creating one character, and you're creating this one character, and you're fleshing them out, and you're doing all this stuff to create this one character, the backstory, all this and that. Which is a nice way as a beginning writer to understand, because I feel like a lot of people create their characters, but they don't create their characters. Yeah, they're like, oh, so and so is a muffin, and I'm like, okay, why is he a muffin? What's going on? How did he do this? They just leave it like that, and they don't put any meat to it.
The character is nothing more than a paint job.
Exactly, and then as you progress in D&D, you become a dungeon master, and then you start to play in somebody else's soapbox. Sandbox. He starts to play in somebody else's sandbox, and you follow all these rules, and your writing becomes different because now you're using these rules to understand your writing style and create this story, but based on those sandbox rules. And then when you become the bigger DM and you're doing your homebrew stuff, now you're the writer, and you're creating everything, and you're figuring everything out because you understand the worlds, or the everything the way you've been playing, all that stuff comes into play, and you understand the rules now, and now you can do it as a writer and create your own thing. And I was like, oh my god, that is such an easier way to explain writing than when you're trying to explain it any other way.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't get to learn all those steps, Raph. I had to go back and watch old episodes of the Written Writ.
Trial by fire.
We got Werewolf the Apocalypse, and they were like, we need someone who can tell a story. You write all the time. Here. And here I am 30 years later, still the game master.
I gotta say, World of Darkness actually lends itself to an easier transition to becoming a DM, a storyteller. Yeah, because it's a complicated game, but at the same time, it's heavy role playing. So it becomes this whole interesting way of getting into role playing and storytelling. And I always tell people that Vampire the Masquerade helped my writing style become what it is.
I have to say also, like, the White Wolf system's so much easier than D&D as far as how dice rolls work and stuff like that. Because I've tried DMing D&D. I think I've DM'd 2 games of D&D, and that's a lot of work.
It is. It's a
lot of work.
It definitely is. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for a player. It's a lot of work for a DM. I think that's what they're trying to do with the new player's guide. I think they're trying to make it easier for new players to come in.
The first time I ever played D&D, I was the dungeon master. I decided to self-punish myself accordingly, and it was a cool experience. You mentioned, Raph, about going through the different hierarchies of learning the game.
Mm-hmm.
The very first time I ran a game, I've never played the game before. I mean, you study up and you get to learn stuff in that. I figured the modules would actually be more difficult to follow, so I went straight to homebrew right off the top.
Whoa!
And it worked out. And that homebrew was actually this comic book. It stuck.
All right, so it worked out then. Okay,
it's obviously meant to be. But I actually like the notion of I know the lore as opposed to trying to remember somebody else's written lore.
Yeah.
It was just easier for me for whatever reason. Everybody else, when I tell them, they're like, "Are you crazy?" Could have made it so much easier.
I can agree with you, because the first thing I did was like when they told me, "Ralph, do you want to DM?" I was like, "Okay," but my style's gonna be a little funny because I'm not gonna be following all those rules. And I homebrewed my first game, so I took whatever I wanted to do and put it into the rule set to. So I get exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I gotta say, man, but I do feel like I think people should get into this more, and I know they're getting to it more now. But I find that as a creative, as a writer, as an actor, as any of that stuff, this thing really helps you out.
Yeah, there was. I'd have to look it up. I don't live and die by TED Talks. With that said, once in a while I'll find a good one. One of them was he talked about how D&D helped him with his childhood, and he talked about learning empathy So people that are very timid, they learn to be more assertive, and
Yes.
they learn to be. They at least get the catharsis. You're timid to too long, that can be almost poisonous. So you at least get to act out, bashing that guy's head in with a warhammer or something.
I feel
And then
attacked.
on the flip side, if you have a really good dungeon master, you can make people have that Peter Parker moment of I should have stepped up and done the right thing as opposed to done it for myself, and now I have to live with this problem. And like you said, I think just the concept of role playing in this style of format, not just D&D but any of them, I think it's very helpful for people to have deeper thought experiments, to actually think out through different viewpoints. I think it's a very healthy thing that a lot of people should exercise a lot, be it role playing or something else.
Well,
I think the best part about game mastering, though, is those moments when you inspire, like, either those epic scenes or those really emotional scenes with your players, and seeing how much like they're into that story, how much they've invested in it. Because there are days where I run 8-hour games, and there are days where like I'm 100% invested and my players are kind of all over the place, and then there are days when they're like champing at the bit and like, I can't believe how great that game was. And that's awesome. Like, as a storyteller, that's
the
I can write a novel and get a good review, but that's not the same as like my good buddies sitting in my living room being like, that was freaking amazing.
Yeah. I like putting in the balance of severity or gravity, and then like throwing in unexpected comedy, but not taking away from the severity.
Yeah.
I'll give you a great example. There was one time I had just two players for this one meeting. A couple people couldn't make it. They're at a castle where there's a bunch of orcs traveling towards the castle, and everybody's in dispute. Is this a threat? Like, what's going on here? So the two players say, can we scout ahead, and then we'll report back what we find. So one guy, he's like a barbarian fighter. He's larger, he's human. And the other one's a tiefling rogue. So the barbarian says, I'm going to go about 100 yards away from the castle, and I'm going to start sharpening poles and pointing them outward towards the oncoming orcs. So I've got a little bit of a defense to help me kind of bottleneck and control what's coming in. I want to throw down with these guys. So I'm like, okay, constitution check. So he rolls like a 26. He's got a high constitution. And so I say, okay, over the next hour, you're going to be sharpening 26 poles. That's actually quite impressive. That's almost one every 2 minutes. Cool. And then the rogue, he says, okay, so while he's doing that, I want to go between him and the oncoming orcs about halfway. So he travels out. It's about like 500 yards. He says, okay, I'm going to use my telescope, and I want to see what kind of details I can get from them. So I said, okay, so perception check. He rolls a natural 1. I say, you see a large man sitting on a rock sharpening sticks. And everybody's like, oh, man. And then the serious stuff happened again. But
rolling 1 is always fantastic.
Yeah.
Some of the best thing happens.
Unless you're the one who rolled it.
Some of the best story stuff happens with a rolled 1.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, man. It's funny that you're talking about the therapy aspect of role playing. We actually have a friend that he has Omnivore Games, and his games tend to have an aspect of the whole therapy to it, And this year is his version of getting your kid involved into role playing games.
That's cool.
This is the Kickstarter he has right now, and the other game is called Ember Wind. And they're both D&D alternatives, So if you're looking for an alternative to D&D, this guy makes some great games, and they're really in depth, and they really, it's really for good role playing. And we've been showing off his stuff. Actually, on Monday we had one of the artists that makes music for his game and for other games and stuff, and she was on talking about the stuff, and yeah. We like Derek. He does great stuff. Folks, go support him. you know, they're really close to funding. They still got 5 days to go. They're at 99 backers. So
what was the target goal for that? I'm just
the target goal is, let me see. They need to get to 11,152, and he's at 9,385.
He's right there. Gee,
Yeah.
you can't let that fail. You get that close with that much money.
Yeah. That, you know, and it's a role playing game, so that's why it's so high, because you know there's a lot of stuff. Well, you know, when you're doing a role playing game, it's not like it's just a book; it's a whole system you're working on, and that's why you know the role playing games usually have a higher funding goal. So go ahead, go folks, go help them out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna look this up right now.
You know, I'll make it easy for everybody. I'll take the link and I'll put it into the comments section. So you guys can be like, Ralph, I'm lazy. I don't want to go look for it.
Well, you actually just enabled my laziness. I was going to go out of the way to look it up.
I'll make it even easier for you. I'll put it into the private chat.
Look at that. Look at that. Laziness fully enabled. And it sounds like I'm complaining, but it ain't stopping me.
No.
So this
if I can get the easy way, I'll take it.
I assume these are Canadians. Yeah, Ontario.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
I
actually met them a couple years back at Anime NYC.
I'm in Canada, so I see it in the Canadian funny money as opposed to American pesos.
Ah.
So in Canadian, he wants 15,000. He's got in Canadian, it's 12.6 thousand right now.
Okay.
Because when I saw that number originally, it was it's not an even number. Like, why that number? But it's that's really cool.
Money.
Yeah. Canadian funny money. It's plastic. You know what? It's really funny because when you look at like American currency, it's always good. It's such a powerful statement when you're like, I need some information. What does Mr. Lincoln help me get for information? But in Canada, it's like, what does this woodpecker do for me? It's just ridiculous.
I mean, if you're lucky, you can always call down the lumberjack a couple of miles up, and he can put up your telephone pole.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Oh my gosh, fantastic! So, Christopher, I know you got a campaign that you want to show off. So, why don't we show that off right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, so here we go. All right, go talk.
Oh my God, no, that's not no. So this is
I'll help you out. I'm gonna play the video. That what gives you a moment.
Well, no, actually, don't play this video. Play a different video first. Let me talk real quick.
All right, go for it.
This is my friend's campaign. This isn't mine. I didn't have anything to show. I wanted to show something for him. I've got to watch him build everything for this, and it's just been incredible, and I'm super excited to see it come out. But he wants to do old Western style music with this. It's kind of like Tales from the Crypt style. Yeah, like you can see that.
This is cool.
It's super cool. And I hit him up, and I have this other friend. His name is Justin. And I said, hey, one of my best friends, I talk to him all the time. I said, he plays music. He hasn't had a reason to be inspired lately. If I hit him up to make a song, would that be okay with you? And he said, oh, absolutely. That would be incredible. And so I hit my friend Justin up. And if you'll open up that other video, the YouTube link that I sent you, I would love it. It's 40 seconds long. It's just a demo song for this this comic that we're making, or that he's making.
All right, here we go. I'll play it on now.
Cosmic Cowboy. They're going to do a vinyl print when they get it done.
Well, the streets are on fire here in my town, and there's one place I want to go. Then the boss man's insisting that I wait here, but he came to tell me no. 'Cause I got stars in my eyes when I pull that cosmic trigger at my side. Let the world go up in flames, just a nebula remains. I got wide open space I can't ride.
So yeah, so
very cool.
That was great.
Yeah.
He bust that out like a day later, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's inspired. Like I
Day
haven't.
later,
It
whoa!
was it was a crazy turnaround, and I was just like, I haven't seen him this inspired to pick up his guitar in so long,
Awesome.
and now he's picked up like almost every song that you're gonna hear from this comic book is going to be from him. And yeah, like that cover right there with the guy coming out of it is just beautiful. Everything I've seen from Daniel Torres is the man who's over this comic book, just gorgeous. But yeah, it's again Tales from the Crypt. It's about Donnie and Midge, who are traveling country duo, just struggling, and then the toxic pond comes into play. That's the lady with the green eyes there. And then it goes into that weird world, and he gets his wish, but what happens? What's he have to do for it? What kind of horrors is he going to have to face? And that right there, it says number 3. So Daniel Torres has done this. This is his 3rd one, and I just really I see this man and I go, this guy he's got it. Like this is all just incredible work, and I just can't wait to see what else he comes up with.
It does have Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt feel to it. I love it.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan. Like I said, when they do the vinyl prints, I cannot wait because I'm gonna ask for a copy. I don't know if I can afford it, but I'm like, I want one so bad.
I gotta say, anytime a comic book has a soundtrack, it's always an interesting thing to me because when I was a kid, the comic books would have soundtracks. Because it'd be me either listening to music or I was like, oh, this song is perfect for this.
Yeah.
Oh my, the art's fantastic.
Oh no, the art is incredible. Everything I've seen other comics and other works that Mr. Torres has done, and everything has just been gorgeous. I don't think I've seen a bad piece of art from whoever he's working with yet.
I like the sequentials. Even though you can't see any of the dialogue yet, you can see where the story is attempting to lead you.
Yep.
Which is very nice.
Speaking of the dialogue, that was one of my favorite. I've got to read it already, and if you guys are familiar with Preacher or with that gritty kind of '90s dialogue, there's some of that like it really you get like a nostalgia hit, and you go, oh, I haven't seen a phrase like that in a minute, and so yeah, it's just. It's a love letter to spooky shows and Western music.
Right on.
I love the combination. Like I said, I like when music and comics mix.
I'm a huge fan of music and comics. For the stuff I'm doing, I'm working. I reach out to a lot of independent like folk punk musicians. I'm like, hey, if I give you a comic book, could I use this song? And they're like, yes, absolutely.
I love that. I love those types of collabs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know the comic book Night by Guido Martinez.
Oh yeah, we had him on the show last week.
Oh, did you? Right on.
Yeah.
Recently, he had a trailer made, but he paid a group.
Yeah, we played the song here.
Oh, did you? Oh, awesome. Yeah, they made a song from lyrics and all, and it has almost like a metal 80s hair band type of style.
That would be crazy.
And, I was quite impressed at the quality, and he definitely got his money's worth. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, it was really hardcore. It was really nice. And I'm a big heavy metal guy, so it was just right up my alley.
Night with a K or night with an N?
With a K. Night as in Knights of the Round. The premise.
Started already?
I think issue 6
Yeah,
is currently.
he has like 16 days to go.
I'm gonna look this up. I'll listen to this later, but I want to see that.
Also, I did a review of the first 4 issues.
Oh, that is like one of the coolest covers too. Yeah, I've seen this before.
Dude, wait till I play this because I love this.
Yeah,
and
go for it.
I'm gonna play it again.
Yeah, shout out to Guido Martinez.
Says my inner trouble is rolling through the night. Sure who is or what he will become. The light he live, they clash inside his mind. How to hero inside. Freedom is where I'm down. I'm hungry, I'm a warrior. Ready to stand up. Oh no, covering the mind. Not just a man in armor. It's a pieces of the soul, an empty shape of man. Can you find a purpose, a place under the sun? The names he carries steps toward the sky. Are you hero inside? The mask you work, the life you save. He don't know that the late when he became. He's where I'm down, and wandering down the warrior, ready to stand up high. Oh no, covering my mind, not just a man in armor. He's a knight.
Oh.
Goes hard.
The video is
They're-
insane. The way they
they're
use the
from-
graphics.
Poland, I believe, that band.
No, they're from his country. Oh man, where's he from again?
Argentina?
There you go. The band's from
Oh.
Argentina. Yeah.
I'm looking up the wrong band then.
Yeah, it's in here. Hold on, I'll show it to you guys. It's in the information at the bottom.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. And also, Raph, I'm going to put in the private chat here. I did a review of the first 4 issues. So
Yeah, I saw that.
See that? Then it's
So
shared
what,
there.
you know, now that you have an audience over here, what did you think of it?
You mean me?
Yeah,
Of Night, you mean?
exactly.
In general, I really like the concept. There's a couple of, you know what? It's almost like, I don't want to say Highlander.
Mhm.
Mind you, it's got old tactics in a modern era. And I like the idea of this individual who is, over time, absorbing specific individuals to try and figure out what his role is in this, whatever this prophecy is, with the antagonist keeps talking about. So he has no idea, but I have these special abilities and I can help people less fortunate. And meanwhile, there's some really ugly things happening at the same time. The city gets tied up and eventually makes some allies. And there's some really cool characters in there. I like it.
That
I think-
answers.
Go ahead, Christopher.
I was gonna say that answers my question because in the song it says not just a man in armor, so I just assumed it was like a homeless guy who got some armor and just started fighting people. And I was really kind of concerned, but okay, he's absorbing people too.
So, folks,
Yeah,
the name of the band is Percival, and they you know, I went in to listen to more stuff, and they got some great stuff. And actually, the song was released yesterday. This exact song we're listening to right now.
No, they made it. That's really cool because you're crossing over different genres. So people that really like Percival, oh, this is a comic that they're actually standing behind. I wonder what it's about. Yeah, that's very cool.
Let's see. Did I put all the links over here so people can just go to the comment section? Let's see. I think I need to put your friends thing. Yeah, here it is. I gotta say, I really do like when people get creative with their books, you know, and I've been seeing a lot of music added to comics. And like I said, I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
I see no reason why it shouldn't. Independent creators of all kinds should come together to some degree. I see no reason why it shouldn't be that way. Why you shouldn't have music and comics together. Anyone that can make videos, even.
Exactly. And that's what they did. They took his book and they actually made that's the video for their song.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a cross promotion.
They made it.
That's crazy.
They made that video. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I think the only thing Guido did to add to it is he just added the lyrics on screen, but everything else was done by Bursola.
Let's see.
But yeah, shout out to Guido Martinez. I enjoyed the first 4 issues. That was the first story arc. There's one of my favorite characters is called Dragon Breath, and he's like very, very imposing individual. He's very large. He eats people. He's very aggressive, and he breathes fire.
You gotta eat some people.
Oh yeah, and eat people. He does.
Oh man, yeah, I love having these people on the show. Chris, if you want your friend to come on and talk about his,
Oh, absolutely.
let him know. He can come on the show. Reach out.
I actually had we originally had the D&D game planned for some of their dates. I don't remember everything that happened.
Yeah, well, it changed a couple times.
Yeah, and I offered him to take my place because I was like, oh, you would kill it here. And then he couldn't, and then it changed again, and I was like, I don't even know when we're doing it, so we'll just mine now, guys.
It's the bane of role playing.
Yes.
Is the whole trying to figure out when people can get together and actually do it. And it's one of the hardest things. People think, they always ask me, what's the hardest thing about role playing? It's getting the people to, like, when you were a kid, it was so easy.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, when you were a kid, it was so easy. But now it's like, well, we all have to check our schedules, and then we have to see who can do what when, and when can we do what who.
As like a 15-year-old boy, I would walk unsupervised down the street to my friend's house, go sit, play PlayStation, wrestling games, and just that was it. That was my whole day.
Yeah. I remember a good meme of this fella. He's in a hospital bed, and he wakes up, and the nurse says, I want to be very gentle with how I explain this to you, but you've actually been in a coma for over 3 years. He's like, oh my goodness, what's the actual date? Well, it's October 12th. He's like, oh, thank God. We have a D&D meeting next week. I haven't missed it, so we're good.
That sounds about right. Yeah, right? That sounds exactly about right. We planned it 3 years in advance. But you can't say you can't make it because it's 3 years from now.
Yeah, exactly.
Gage, you've been having trouble with that recently, right?
So I had a con on the 9th, I want to say, but I don't know. What's the date today? At the beginning of this month, like the second week, I had a con that was Saturday and Sunday, and it was 4 hours away. But it was Friday and Saturday. It was 4 hours away. I actually came back early, and we gamed that Sunday. So no, wow. I had a rough patch last month where we missed 2 weeks. And lost a gamer, but I've already found a replacement player, and she starts this week.
Ooh,
but I run. Yeah, I actually have 3 girls and 3 guys in my game this time.
Oh my God, that sounds so weird.
Yeah, it is. But I run every Sunday from 12 to 8, and I run on Thursdays from 4:30, 5 o'clock until 9. And then I also do, I just recently discovered online role playing.
Uh-oh.
And so I've been doing a little bit of that, trying to find some good people to write with. And so that's been a lot of fun too, but it's kept me from writing stuff I should be writing.
Oh, I know that, because when you go for inspiration, sometimes the inspiration stops you from writing, even if it is creating the inspiration to write.
Yeah, sometimes you've got like a bunch of pots on the boil, and maybe I should get this pot going. Hold on, I had a good idea. Let me write this down. You should be on the pots.
No.
Well, with the game on Thursdays, the world is 100% like my design, and completely unique. And so, and we're finally moving into the second chapter of that story. And so I've had to design like a whole new area they're kind of going into. where they're dealing with the aftermath of this war between giants and ancients, and I'm having to design all the NPCs. And Raph's seen how I design NPCs. Like, I'm no slouch with designing NPCs. You get
Cool.
like a 30-page list of who they are, like what who their family is, like an image I found on the internet that I use for them, their age, like everything.
Yep.
Everything. And so I've been working on that. And then my Sunday game, I'm a little bit ahead. I think I've got like 2 or 3 more weeks before they start to kind of nudge into where I have to start writing for it again. So, and then that one, I designed all of the races. It's the system's based on White Wolf's Changeling the Dreaming. Only it's a homebrew version of it because I've been running it for 30 years. And I don't know if you've ever played White Wolf, but that character sheet is not meant for long-term games. Everyone becomes powerful way too fast. And so I have like my own custom character sheet and my own homebrew systems. And then instead of using the changelings from the book, we're playing in Japan. And so I created like a whole list of unique yokai characters that my players could play, and new powers. And yeah, I did way too much work.
Yeah,
but that's why I have players. I think that's why I have players for 8 hours on every Sunday.
Yeah, that's why it was easy to replace the player.
That was not easy. That was the first time. Like, it used to be like I was a young guy that was at work, and it was like, oh, role play, and there'd be other people who were like, what's that? Or, oh yeah, me too. And you drag them in. Like, now I'm at work and I'm listening to audiobooks, and I work with like 7 other people, and none of them are as nerdy as me. Like, on the nerd list, I'm at the top. Anime is the next closest nerd, is someone who watches a lot of anime. And so, like, I actually went online and put an ad and was like, hey, if you live in Reno and want to role play, like, let's meet up at this place and talk. And it turned out to be a girl, and so I was like, I'm not going to meet this girl alone. So I took my daughter. And she actually turned out to be really cool. My daughter and her sat and talked about anime, and she's already written her character history and stuff like that. I brought her over to meet my players because I don't invite a new player without them meeting my players and getting their approval. You know, they have to feel like they can play with them. And they were like, why doesn't she stay and play today? Like, is she staying today? And I was like, no, guys, like, I need at least a week, because now I've got to write her into this story I have set for you guys. Like, but she gave me a good history. Like, I've already involved her in the world, like added characters based on her family history and stuff like that. So, oh my gosh, man, you should see my White Wolf role-playing book collection. It's crazy. I don't know who Tate is, but my White Wolf role-playing book collection spans those shelves and all of these. And I've been collecting for 30 years. Like, I still remember June 6th, 2006, when they released the Demon the Fallen books, and they did the White Wolf sale, and were selling every book for $6.66.
I remember that.
I remember that was the day they remade The Omen, June 6th.
I have ones that still have the $6.60 sticker on them, the Demon the Fallen sticker, man. Like, I was a poor guy. We were there with my paycheck that week. We were like, we'll make up rent. And we bought a bunch of books while they were cheap.
Kind of a deal. Yeah, you don't miss that kind of a deal.
That's great.
Anytime you get that kind of a deal, you actually I've done it before where I'm like, okay, I don't have the money, but this is too much. This is too good of a deal to pass up. Oh man!
But that was our only entertainment when we were young adults too. Like,
oh, definitely.
Me and my wife started young. Like, we had a couple of roommates. When I say a couple, I mean 3 in a 2-bedroom apartment. And then we had my daughter, and so we didn't have cable, didn't have TV, didn't have video games, we were broke. And so it was like, what can we do to entertain ourselves? This guy.
Hey.
And we would play Vampire the Masquerade every night. I would come home from work and we would play Vampire the Masquerade every night.
Now, let me tell you a story. Oh man! Speaking of stories and rolling one, I have to like throw this in now because Matt is not here today, but I always have to show off because I love this book. You know, Matt Sorcier has her Misadventures of Buddy and Friend coming out soon, and this book is what would happen if everybody rolled a one, and all the shenanigans that happened because of it.
Crafty, I like it.
I love that.
Oh, the concept! Oh my God, yeah. I've been waiting for this book for a while, but she got involved in her other books and other stuff because she's trying to branch out now, and she's been doing covers for other people. But she does everything herself. She does the writing, she does the art, she does the lettering, she does the. My favorite thing that she says is I do all this work and I can't even pay myself.
Mata's doing covers for other people.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought you had like a thing with her over there because
no, hold on, I got my necklace. I got this.
Yeah, which is badass.
I got this.
Mata made this.
And this is that's the necklace from my main character in my comic book, Dust, that he wears. But I didn't know she was doing covers right now.
Yeah, hit her up.
I'm going to.
That'll slow the process. Leave her alone.
Well, this book is going to launch on September 16th. That's what she told me. Yeah, September 16th. Buddy and Friends will be launching. I've been waiting this for a while, so I'm going to keep telling people to go sign up to get notified. Because, folks, I tell you all the time, but when you sign up to get notified for a book, it actually helps out the book. It puts the book in a better algorithm when the book starts off. The more followers the book has, the better it is for the book. And if you're looking for something free to do for the book, signing up to get notified is actually a free thing you can do, and it helps out the creator. So go do it. What do you
am.
I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you to drop the link in the chat.
I already dropped the link in the chat. I was waiting for that.
I didn't even ask. I just looked. I already thought it was there.
Oh yeah, Buddy's easy to find. It's one of my favorite things about it. I actually just start putting Buddy and it shows up right away.
I'm curious about the art style in that one. I can't wait until she has more up there.
Oh, Buddy's art style is much more fun than her other book.
Sacrimony?
Yeah. The Sacrimony has a more fantasy seriousness to it. Buddy is just fantastic fun.
There's some gorgeous pieces in Sacrimony though. So.
Oh my gosh, she's an amazing artist. I mean, amazing. I think right now she did a cover for which book is it? I used to have it here, but my computer just decides to throw things away. What is it? Something worse.
He gets all quiet while he's hunting. He's on the prowl. He's got to use stealth or he'll run away.
Well, it's like that joke when you're driving somewhere and you're getting close, you have to turn off the radio so you can
Oh my God, yeah.
Apparently it has something to do with all your senses going to like the same receptor. So it's if you shut off a couple things, it's like closing your eyes to listen to something. Your eyes aren't distracting the receptor from what it's trying to listen to.
I gotta say, I give props to anybody who can do this job, what we're doing right now. Looking for something. I don't know how they do it.
Oh, well, you're looking for that. I actually want to give a thanks to Gage. Here, I'll share this. Gage has shared some stuff that Dan Kemp has colored for me.
Dude, I love Dan.
I can tell. Oh yeah, absolutely. Dan Kemp is world caliber colorist.
I have that image right back there. That's my cover for Godslayers episode 3. Okay. And when you guys see Dan's colored version of that, it is freaking amazing.
Right on. That's good.
You can't see it, can you?
I could hear it. You almost broke the no swear rule.
I broke that rule a while
he
ago.
stopped for a second. I was like, oh, he's gonna do it.
I broke that
It's
rule
such
a
a
while
rare thing for me to slip and cuss. I have to
Okay,
usually be
okay.
angry for that to happen.
Gage, I believe you shared this one. I've had, that's Harvey Siltera's line work from Ghost Rider, second volume from the 90s when Dan Ketch took over as the writer. Dan Kemp's coloring. I just wanted to give a thanks for sharing these images online. That was very nice of you.
I have not been sharing as much recently, but I if I see something I like, it's going out there for others to see. So
this one is
no need to thank me just because I liked it.
Yeah, right. This is also Dan Kemp coloring over Jimbo Salgado line work.
That's insane coloring right there.
That's world caliber, as far as I'm concerned. Nothing short of it. I really got my money's worth with Dan. I'm just humbled that I was able to get this talent to be like, sure, we'll work on some stuff in your imagination, and here we are.
Yeah,
really, really cool.
Okay, so hold on. I'll shoot that one. Just it wound up a drop dead, gorgeous cover. And it's not trade dressed yet, so bear with me on that. But this is Dan and Chris Graves' cover for Godslayers episode 3.
That's cool. Yeah, I like the balance of the color, the gray and the brown, but then everything else is highlighted. Very, very smart. Those guys are very intelligent when it comes to coloring, man.
I got a funny story when it comes to Dan too, because I sent him a piece after this, and for reference on colors, I sent him this piece of work. And Dan takes a look at it and texts me back, and he's like, I don't know who colored that, but it's freaking gorgeous. And I was like, that was you, bro. And he's like, I can take the compliment because I didn't realize it.
That's amazing when you can do that. He goes, man, God, that's great. You did it. Oh, damn.
So, and he was like, I do a lot of work. It's nothing personal. I was like, I didn't think it was, but it was just great.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
That is amazing. You're about to start your campaign soon, right?
So Godslayers episode 3 is 2 pages and lettering and then formatting from finished. And I'll be formatting it. So I'll be formatting that myself. And so I was hoping to have it by the time I went to Elko, but it's been a slow process on episode 3, mostly because of me. To be fair, but it's on its way. So
I finally found a Worse Than Mayhem, because I couldn't remember the second part of it. I was remembering the worst. This is another D&D style adventure comic book type of thingy. It's really beautiful. If you like your D&D stuff, funny and rude, and just go check it out. They've already funded. They're at 5,968. They got 44 hours to go. Whoa, they got 44 hours to go. And let me show you Matta's cover here, as I go through this beautiful stuff. Yeah, I really like their style that they use for this book. There we go. This is Matta Sorcier's cover.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yep, Matta does amazing work. And she's been doing work for other people.
Oh,
so
this is the one from
Get Her. You might as well get her.
This is the same artist from before.
Buddy
with
in front? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes. I'm not good with names. I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm bad with names. If you can't tell, I usually stall a minute before I say something with a name.
Yeah. No, this looks fantastic.
Yeah. Worst is a great book, as you guys saw, all the little bits and pieces there, and of course, if you want a Matta cover, you guys can have one right there. and
hear you, Raph. I hear you, Raph. I'm gonna hit her up later.
Ray, your book is coming. You're getting ready to launch your book in a while too, but you got your sign up page up too, right?
I do. This is issue 2 of the Madcaps. Unlike many of the experienced veterans here. This is my first stab at a story on the creator side of comic book. I've always read them. I've always wanted to make one. As I've already mentioned, this is based off of the first homebrew campaign I ever ran, which is over a decade ago. There is a lot of lore. I'm not arrogant enough to be like, this is going to be an ongoing monthly. It's that amazing. It's up to the people who read it to decide whether they like my stuff or not. So I decided to do a 3-issue miniseries. So issue number 2 takes place right after where 1 left off, where 4 friends, they meet up in their hometown. And before they can really start catching up, there's this undead outbreak right in the middle of the city. And these guys aren't like, they've got some cool features to them, as you've seen in my artwork, but they're not the toughest guys around. At one point early in the first half of issue 1, 3 of them almost get killed, and they're saved by guards, which is that's like Spider-Man getting saved by a police officer. It just doesn't come across as very mighty of a hero. And the dwarf, he concludes, or is starting to get suspicious, that this outbreak might be the cause from a local drug problem. So right at the end of the issue, they actually are able to, from a previous interrogation, they're able to track down where a shipment is happening, and they're about to interrogate 2 more individuals. And issue number 2 starts off right there. And issue 2 is all about, like, if we're dealing with drugs and people that like move this stuff around, they're going to be well protected and well armed. And these fellas, they're at a turning point of, should we be getting involved? Like, are we biting off more than we can chew here? I'm very excited to get this thing going.
It's funny you saying all this. It just sounds to me like how it would be if we're going through a campaign. You're trying to figure out, do we do this or not?
Exactly. And that was what I was going to be. That's the premise going to be the whole time. I really liked the idea of friends meeting up. Like I already mentioned earlier, these players are actually, or the characters rather, are based off of the players I homebrewed with. So I took out their characters and put in basically them, just exaggerated. And they all have, it's almost like buddy cops. They have a lot of contrasts, but those contrasts at times jive. They complement each other, and there's times where they rub each other the wrong way, as many groups of friends do in life. And the coolest thing I like about it is, if you're with a bunch of friends and something critical happens, you're going to act a certain way. But like, I'm a father of 3. If my kids are around, okay, I need my kids to be safe. I need to leave.
Yeah.
So this entire miniseries is supposed to be an homage to that level of camaraderie. It should feel like how people, when they meet up, even if it's for a short amount of time and they leave, I really needed to see them. I didn't realize that. You're recharged, even if it's only 5 minutes of sitting in the same room as them.
Oh, I know.
You haven't seen them in months, right?
Yeah.
And this comic, I feel, really holds on to that theme well, but told in the theme of medieval fantasy through the medium of a comic book.
I agree, and it's funny you saying all this, because this is one of the reasons why I like the most recent D&D movie, is because it has that same feel that you're talking about.
Yes.
That's why I tell people all the time, because a lot of people are like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, it just had that feeling. You felt like when I was watching the movie, you can hear what was happening at the campaign, and that was so great. And at the same time, if you're a new person watching this, it was still fun.
I felt the same way. You could almost hear the players
exactly
like behind the characters.
Yes.
It really. I really think they nailed it.
They did.
I really like how, spoiler alert to anybody who hasn't seen it. At the end, when they defeat the Red Wizard, I really like how it was very obvious they were trying to reflect duping the DM. They had a very simple solution for a very hard challenge. Okay, well, you're shackled. You can't cast magic. Owlbear. I thought that was very meta of a storytelling. A casual watcher isn't going to see that, but anybody playing D&D, at least when you mention, be like, yeah, that's exactly what happened there.
Exactly.
They duped the DM in that story. That's awesome.
Because to me, it always felt like when you're watching the movie, you get feeling like somebody was nudging, going, something else happened behind the scenes. But
and as a game master, like that happens. There will be really simple things they can't seem to wrap their head around, and it becomes this big, complicated mess.
Yep.
And then there will be this super complicated thing, and they'll find out one little pinhole you forgot to plug.
Oh yeah,
and be like, "Oh, simple solution," and you're just like, "Well, there goes 6 hours of." It's all right. Here we go. It's time to I'm gonna fluff this out. We got this. I've been there too many times to count.
Yes.
Just climbing the wall to go through the window, and the door's just wide open, and you're like, oh, you just didn't even check that. Yeah,
that's great.
I love it when some DMs get pissed off, but I love it when the players surprise me.
Yes.
Yeah. And I like to think on my feet, because that's my that's one of the things about my writing that I love is when somebody will challenge me with something and I create a story right there, and so when the players do something like that, it just makes me get more creative, which is usually more dangerous for them.
One time I did a one shot. Every individual, they're in a dwarven city, and the premise was that a dwarven noble invited all of these individuals to have supper for the evening. Now, the thing was, in this dwarven city, all the players were non-dwarves. And when they get there, the door shuts. These are like level 5 characters.
Mm-hmm.
This level 20 cleric shuts the door on them and says, one of you is a conduit that is attempting to summon a deity from another realm at the strike of midnight. You can either confess who you are now, and we will make your death swift, stopping this summoning, or I will just slaughter you all. You have 10 minutes. And the funny part is, that was the only thing I had prepped for the game. The characters I made for them, because it was a one-shot, so they all had a reason to, hide pieces of themselves. So at one point, this cleric, he says, okay, I want everybody to strip your clothes, and I need to look through your things. Well, one guy, he used to be part of an assassin's guild, which was shadow monks, and they had a brand on their shoulder. So he's like, I'm not taking my clothes off. Another guy was an assassin who was trying to kill the noble, who wasn't even there. He had an assassin's contract, which he's supposed to leave on the body. He's like, I'm not showing you my stuff. And so everybody was suspicious of each other. It was actually a very amazing game.
Have you ever played that game Werewolf One Night?
Is that the one? That's not the RPG. Is that the one where you're in a circle?
Yeah, and you each have like a character from the town that you are, and someone's drawn the werewolf, and you don't know who it is, and you have to try and guess. That's what that reminds me of.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah,
I love that game.
The only thing I designed was the premise, reasons for people to not trust each other, and this high caliber cleric. But it was.
How did it end?
It ended. So when people start, one guy is like, "Okay, you know what? I'm already naked." He's like, "I want to live, so you're going to find out the skeleton in my closet." The guy who was actually the conduit, who I informed was the conduit, he immediately attacked the cleric like fireball. He says, the way he describes it, I'm going to launch fireball to the face. And then he runs out. One guy tries to go with him, but the doorway collapses. This is all under a mountain, so stone collapse. They can't get through. Wow. Cleric ends up going through another way. Everybody else starts traveling a different way. It's like, the cleric might think it's one of us. Let's move away from the cleric while he roots that guy out. And the mansion, because it was owned by a noble, he had some valuable things, some magic things. They ran into some odd, unintentional passive traps. But eventually, the assassin with the contract, he ends up hiding it in a kitchen. And there was a whole bunch of crap. And I had the layout of the area where they're playing, and they're all locked in. And by the end of it, one guy aided the cleric in slaying the conduit. Everybody else is like, I'm staying away from all of you.
I do want to point out, the second you gave them a puzzle, the first instinct was just cast fireball.
Fireball!
Oh my god. I've been in those games, both sides of those games. I cast fire. You know what happens when you cast fire? But I cast fire. Oh my god!
You know what? I believe it was Tate who said social deduction game. I think I did that one more time where I had 6 politicians have to decide how to handle an oncoming war.
Wow.
The king and queen were neutral druids, so they just had people elect a government because they're neutral, right? So they don't care. But there was 3 different parties, and the members were 3, 2, and 1. And what they didn't know is all of them were warlocks of different patrons, and they all had different orders. Some were to assassinate a certain person. Some was to make sure that their plan for this upcoming war went a certain way. And again, it was in an isolated area, the king and queen's chambers. They say you can't leave until you all decide. And these guys duked it out. I was surprised not one person died. At one point, 2 people went and hid because they were heavily injured. The other 4 look at each other. If we agree on this, then we stop fighting and get to leave, right? Done. Okay, we want to do this, and they left. But that one shot turned into a 2 shot, and it was like a combined amount of 6 hours. It was pretty wild.
Don't you love when stuff like that happens?
Yes, I do.
It just gets better and better and better.
The paranoia was amazing.
So those are some of the best games. Again, it's one of those when the game takes the weirdest turn that you sit there going, okay, if you guys want to do this.
At one point, there was a vampire. Their patron was a celestial, so it had light abilities, and it's fighting a summoned ice elemental, and then somebody else is casting Eldritch Blast and peppering everybody, and someone else had a dimension door to hop through from one room to another. It was really, if you had to play it in real time, something that was 2 hours is probably going to be 10 minutes max. So there's a lot of all of this technicality going on. It was crazy.
That's the nature of the game too.
Yes.
I've been there where especially when it's something simple, you're sitting there going, what the hell are you guys doing? And they make it super complicated. And it's 3 hours, the content I had was for 10 minutes. Why are you 3 hours into this?
Big combat is always what takes us forever. If we have a big combat scene, that's where time gets eaten up, and you'll spend 4 or 5 hours on just a combat while everyone's doing their thing. And oh man, it's
30 seconds to travel miles upon miles, but 5 minutes of combat is 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sometimes you even have to have a break in the middle.
Yes.
Oh man. So folks, we've been having fun here, geeking out, doing all our stuff. Ray, why don't you tell them where they can find you and all the good stuff?
Absolutely. So DM Ray, you can find that on Facebook. DM, of course, is short for Dungeon Master. You can also find my Facebook group of the Madcaps. Just type in the Madcaps. You'll find it on there. I'm actually holding back art right now. I really want to show stuff off, but I want to show it in larger clusters instead of trickling out whatever I can and having people starve for more. I'm going to be a little hungry now. This pre-launch page, if you sign up for that, that will be the earliest time you will know when it launches.
Yep.
You can find me on Instagram, Raymond the DM. You can find me on Twixter, as I like to call it. You can, I believe those are all the critical ones.
Yeah, go check out Ray. He's a blast, and this book is so much fun.
Thank you.
Christopher, go for it.
If you want to find me, Clove Hitch on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Lately, I've been gathering unlettered pages from people and just lettering them, just random stuff. So shoot me a page. Yeah, I'll letter whatever you guys want. Doesn't even matter. If you want to find Daniel Torres, I'm not entirely sure where he is, but you can find him on Kickstarter. Tales from the Toxic Pond, and go give him some love because he absolutely deserves it.
There you have it, folks. And Mr. Gage the Wolf, you do your thing now. Go for it.
I mean, you can find me on Facebook at Gage the Wolf or at Tenebris Anima Comics. I'm not super I'm not super social lately, so I don't have any new stuff posted up. But Godslayers episode 3 is coming, and there will be art and books and a Kickstarter, and I'll be around again.
And you're
Right
working with Rob Torres, so that's it.
Working with Rob Torres.
Sorry, Rob Powers.
Oh, so Origins.
Where does come from?
Godslayer's Origins is completed. I haven't kickstarted it yet, but I've been selling it at the cons. And one of my covers, the cover done by another guy I share on my Facebook, Stephen Yu, who did his. He has Joan was his Indiegogo. His cover's almost sold out, and then from my original print run.
Wow.
And so I'll be looking to do a Kickstarter exclusive cover for Origins, and I'll be launching Godslayers Episode 3 and Origins together. And Godslayers Episode 3 is done by Mario A. Barraza for our interiors.
Right on.
You are one busy man.
I do try.
And of course, folks, Rob Powers' Pinguino's Revenge funded recently, and I'm waiting to get my issue. Because we all love Rob Powers here. Okay.
He did freaking amazing on Origins. So.
Yeah. You shared a couple of things, so I'm just looking forward for that too. Because I love Rob's stuff. So.
I have all his Pinguino books, and I have Cataclysm. So he's another one of those guys I collect his stuff. So.
And folks, if you want to get a taste of what Rob does, you can do a Kid in a Comic where you actually every month or every couple of months, I think it is, he does a little bit thing there for Pinguino's Revenge. Because Rob Powers is on a Kid in a Comic. And I think that is everything, Mr. Nat. What are we forgetting? Are you there, Mr. Nat? Maybe you fell asleep.
Or his mouth's full. It says dinner table.
Yeah, he was eating earlier, so. All right, guys. It's been a great show. We've had a lot of fun here. We've been doing a lot of geeking out. You people who just showed up to the show, go rewatch the show. Go do the rewind. Go check out all the beautiful stuff we talked about. It was some great stuff. And go check out all those links that are in the comment section so I don't have to hear, Ralph, I'm lazy. I don't want to go look for the links. They're there. Go look for them.
You're such an enabler.
And on Saturday, we're going to be having a lot of fun hanging out with the guys and playing our game with Michael Tauzin. And I'm
playing a game. Playing.
Not playing the players.
Exactly. Dude, the last time we played, I was sitting there doing my character, and I'm like, this is weird.
I have a feeling that's going to be me.
It's going to be a good time.
All right.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Ralph. This has been a good hangout. Had a good time.
No problem. Well,
Thank
folks, you know
sir.
what we do here on the Written Writ. I'll press the button.